Inshallah and Ashe. Welcome to a thankful Thursday. And all my replay and live stream viewers, myself, I'm streaming a little late in the day, but I do have an otherworldly show for you. And I am grateful to have you here while we are waiting for people to hop on in the live show here. So how was the energy of the moon? How has that been for you? Wow, I feel like I've got this moon hangover, I guess. But the goddess of the night is actually now in the season of what we feel in our hearts, that we believe, Sagittarius. So it's definitely a different frequency than the moon in Scorpio, right? In the season of Scorpio, I might add. Guarding our heart, our feelings, guarding our emotions, or protecting our heart and our emotions along with others. But during the season of Scorpio, we are all transforming our boundaries within ourselves. And then we're moving those out to our outer selves. And the Shaman's portal, that's a gateway. It's this magical, mystical, imaginal realm. It's kind of like the Aurora Borealis in a way, not a dimension, a time and space, a time or a space and time within different dimensions. But the energy of today is transforming our inner dimensions, frequencies and vibrations of what we attract and no longer wish to attract. So this is similar to the Merlin effect in Change Your Stars. Well, it is pretty much playing out in our spheres of protection, our boundaries within our essence. So we have particles, waves, neutrons, protons, atoms even, so much more. Creating a structure that may have been held in a place that is no longer in alignment or resonating with your stratosphere of truth. The chalice of your heart, the core of it all. So these threads are beginning to unravel, untwist, unwind. However, the magic is actually on the other side of these threadings. They're weaving into a more elevated frequency vibration with love as that mainstreaming ingredient, protecting our chalice of love, whatever that is, our guardians of our gatekeepers. And this magic of this threading is happening during the unweaving. It's this connection with our chalice, also known as the God spot. It's our core heart processor. Our heart space is always the guiding light for spiritual truths, our core truths, etc. But it is when we have this lingering white lie, a false narrative, that our heart feels the conflict and our inner world begins to unravel or break down. And it's when we are seeing, it's when what we are seeing isn't in alignment with what we are hearing. So when we tune into our heart and we're connected and we're staying in that zone of neutrality, the other side of things literally breaks down. It's like a wishing tree. So this truth emanates from the ghost in the darkness. And if you are new to my live streams or my show, with that, welcome to the Daily Snippet. Once again, I am your host. I'm a practicing holistic shaman and medium, an otherworldly life coach, and a subtle energetic surgeon working on the quantum fields. But I do go by the term holistic shaman medium, which is a merging of it all, coined by my friend Rich in Mongolia, 2018. What an adventure. Heading back there, by the way, check that out at tanyad.tv. Bottom of the page, you're going to see an invitation there. But my intention is to utilize these indigenous technologies along with the spirits of the elements, those realms, along with our divine original blueprint to navigate our soul's harmonic through these realms, which is open, by the way, with the moon. I just thought of that. Through the elemental, the imaginal, and into the shaman's portal, which we are in as well. The 8th energetic center, the cosmos, the subtle realms, and really so much more. With offerings, prescriptions, ritual, food for the soul, the otherworldly kind, I might add. And really, it's the juice of our main stage ingredients. It's adding to the sauce, our personal container, our personal medicine, really, the prime directive of the star that we are. Really just assisting you in discovering, maybe navigating that inner genius, your own personal medicine, the star that I really believe we all are, uniquely reintroducing you to that essence that's magical, that resides within us, so that we do shine a lot brighter. My name is Tanya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do, YouTube or otherwise. It's Tanya D on YouTube and my Musing with Tanya D podcast. This season's coined The Otherworldly Insights. That's my title for 2022. I'm kind of musing about 2023 right now. But right now, my podcast season is dedicated to the season of Scorpio, Hades, Pluto, our 8th house, setting the shaman's portal, our soul star, our 8th energetic center, the mystical and the magical. But also, let's give a big shout out to the community, what I call the village, new subscribers, those of you even on the replay, and those of you that have been on my journey since the beginning. Gratitude as well, and thanks for tuning in. I think replays actually you get more messages. I don't know. I think watching things more than once, you get a different frequency vibration. But also, if you don't mind hitting the bell button so you're notified, along with, I guess now it's a white button. And remember, a comment or a share does get you a message for your day to get you on your way, or the weekend. It just really helps with the algorithm echoing it out, which is always changing, right? It's kind of like the Matrix. But what it is really it's insights of the other world, the world of spirit, the subtle energies called the chakras as well, the elementals, source, unity, the cosmos, and really so much more. You can also find me on other social channels like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, which I'm streaming on, along with some other places. However, if your soul is possibly dragging and kicking you, screaming or nudging, just giving you a little tug, to dive on deeper into the realms of the mystical, the magical, the other world, head on over to my Musing corridor. This is my digital library in the sky. It's a venue where you have some amazing options to assist you, to guide you. However, I do got something percolating coming out if you watch that intro video. But there is a private sacred circle, a community as well. I actually called it the Sacred Spirit Circle, one of my opportunities there. But a village to operate as well. I am your otherworldly shamanic assistant. You truly are your own healer. But sometimes we do need an otherworldly life coach assistant that sees things through different eyes to get us really out of our own way, the magic that resides within us. And a few announcements, but we do have our little show opportunity here. We've got a dimension. We have frequency and we have energy. Believe it or not, the one with the little plug is energy. Of course, the little finger's a dimension, of course, frequency. Those are your options. And so, yeah, so check those out. I can't decide which one I want, but a few announcements. The replays are on the highway from the free 3-day immersion, Rising of the Origins. Be sure to log in, watch them. There's some gifts in there. There's a meditation, I believe, called the Inner Smile, which is great. And Change Your Stars is actually out on the highway for one more week. It ends November 1st, actually. Can you even believe that we're already streaming into November soon? Less than a week away. No, yes, maybe. I don't know. If you're not sure what your intuitive gifts and your psychic abilities are, be sure to take the quiz and jump on in. I think it's like I've got 12 offerings in there, including the Merlin effect, which is probably one of my favorites. It is my favorite, quite honestly. It's just taking energy or spirit and bringing it back into form, into our reality. But Merlin is so much more. And of course, I do have the Musing Moon meditation still out for your musing pleasure. The goddess of the night, the season of Scorpio. That was intense, right? But this is all about protecting our inner whoopee, having a safety blanket, the guardian, which would be the comforts of a blanket, our inner womb, our inner baby. And the Otherworldly Insight podcast, of course, the angelic being of Scorpio, which is Jeremiel. So if you are going through the cobwebs of your closet, I would literally call in this angelic being if you feel like doing a physical in the world now kind of life review. Not a transitional life review, but if you're picking up what I'm throwing down there. But maybe you just need assistance with your in-world review, the ghost in the darkness, the shadow universe, if you will, which we're in, to get you to the heavenly universe, the mercy of the Great Spirit, the God universe, right? Source. Again, these angelic beings are really online all season long. I just feel like they're more in season in the signs that they're aligned with. And we also have Sowain, this great little, ooh, look at that color. Oh my God, it matches. Yeah, it's awesome. On the highway as well, I do have some cute little infusions out there if you've been watching my reels. And the messages today, the oracles, you may be feeling a little edgy, maybe hyper aware. Maybe you wanted to stay in bed. I don't know. The weather's changing. Maybe you're just hyper aware of your personal space, where things you're attracting. Where do you feel like you belong in this galactic, juicy, dimensional space? It's usually a high frequency, but it often feels very uncomfortable because when we are, number one, when we're unfamiliar with it, this is a playground for a Merlin. So what makes this a more shifty space or place is any sacred space is out of place. that no longer fits the space. That may be seriously seen today, like abrupt, and I cannot believe I brought the Fae in. However, knowing where this space is and the space is not is this process of navigating the threads through our heart, the weaving of this energetic tapestry, if you will. These are these inner heart's energy streams. That's why I went with frequency, energy, and a dimension there. But it's where the wave begins, or the weave begins, or the wave, doesn't really matter, and where the weaving ends. So it's a weave of safety, protection that belongs in a place to guard the queen, protecting our inner self. However, if it isn't stifling, if it's stifling us, of a boundary that's not protecting our chalice, our heart, that could be one that is actually loveless, doesn't definitely belong. It's like love lost. It really drains our cup. And we didn't guard ourselves from losing those love streams of love. So what does that say? It says that the boundaries, they need to be making us feel safe and secure. And what belongs is what does make our heart feel secure. It's a safety. It's like getting a procedure. I don't know. So if things on the inside are breaking down, it's often caused by improper installments of our boundaries that have really failed to protect our heart space. Our God spot, really. The heart has 3 levels, but it's like when you download an antivirus software and you just knew it. Your heart knew it was going to fail, but we didn't listen. So this weaving creates a wave in the stratospheres, the webs of time and space. Or even, and also maybe there was a time and space where you had certain protectors in place, and now your heart, your soul, has literally grown out of them. Or you may have overlooked them in the first place and never even thought about placing them there as well. So this is like doing feng shui in your house in a way, dimensional feng shui, I guess. But the heart is the queen. She determines the line, where it begins, where it ends. The mind is a tool, and it kind of organizes it. It takes notice, if you will. And I find a lot of times if you count backwards from 5 or maybe 10 to 1, that really helps cleanse the mind, if you will. So if you feel like your mind's rattled, just count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not quite that fast, but that's kind of what I would recommend, just so you know. Okay, so on the elemental highway, we have a Yin Water Ox of a day, the ox and the dog. It's a Gui Chou day, sorry. That was great. So there's a lot of earth. We've got a meadow in the mountain, a rocky mountain. We do have a river, yin water, and we have a lake. And we do have a forest of trees. So there is also some yin metal in the month of the dog and also in the ox. That's like the birthing. Or no, yeah, it's hidden. It's in storage. It's actually the end of the metal trine. That's what my brain was trying to say as far as metal goes. So we do have some opportunities here. But we do need more because that metal is actually buried deep in the mountain. This is like a cave inside the mountain where the little beings dwell. So yeah, we need it to allow our day to flow. And we also need fire to bring out the heart's warming energy, which is also hidden, but is coming out at the hour of the horse. So our day is actually really kind of balanced. We do need some elemental balance, possibly more nature, fire to assist, metal. You could bring in the other elements too if you feel called to. But I would say go with what the heart wants on this day. I would count down from 10 or 5 and just kind of feel into the elemental frequencies. And again, rising of the origins, I kind of hit on all these elementals. Not quite in the stratosphere of the Chinese astrology, but they're all very decadent and similar. And yeah, they're all succulent as far as I'm concerned. But we do have an altruist super talent coming in on the month. This is somebody who's concerned about the well-being of others. And out in the world on the year, we do have a networker. So again, on the media channels, speaking to the people about the poor, the sick, possibly the indentured servants, which we kind of feel like we are, just saying. Politicians at the polls, you know, speaking to what the village wants to hear. But on the negative side, this networker energy uses lies, Scorpio, white lies, to deceive people. So heartfelt, be heart-centered to find the truth because the heart knows, right? Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I still find it curious, all these conversations during the season of Scorpio, and then we even vote. God, this is hilarious. Cracking myself up today. So again, dimensions or a dimension, energy or frequency, Comment which one you choose. So excited. And my hair is great today, isn't it? I did shower. I showered for you guys. Can you tell? Just saying. Okay, I did go with the Fae today. So it's very fun. I felt like we needed some joy, some laughter, some poetry, and of course we need some humor. So first up, if you chose the energy, which is the circle with the cord, the energy, you chose energy. You get this great character. He's called Gotcha. He gotcha. He's a fairy challenger. Fairy challengers bring us face to face with our fears. I would say our demons, our inner traumas, denials. When we're insecure, maybe we're illusional, delusional, confused. Maybe we have some misbehaviors. But they test us, but they're not the same tests that we would get in school, getting graded on. These are the tests that are designed so that in the process, we pass them. We actually do learn things, and it moves us up to a higher level of being. Spiritual growth, possibly, otherworldly growth, I don't know. But they also don't offer us challenges unless they feel that we have the potential of actually passing them. So that's awesome. But Gotcha, the 64, this is us opening up and accepting where we belong. And the message with that is in doing it, we then begin to heartfelt manifest by trusting and loving not just the process, but where we belong to manifest the ability to receive it. That's what we're manifesting through the law of attraction, manifesting. So this is really about holding sacred space, a note or a tone to bring it into life, that frequency, energy, vibration, law of attracting. It's like where two souls meet, creates one, right? Little atoms. But Gotcha is all about sudden shock, unexpected events, rude awakenings. But he's the out of the blue fairy. He likes to surprise us. You know, when you're just going about your day, minding your own business, or not minding any business at all. You're just doing your thing. And the universe smacks you upside the head, blindsides you with something that makes you like, what? It's the doorbell rings and the tax man's right there, or the bank, the little ATM machine eats your card, takes it for lunch. Or your kids, because it's Halloween, they turn their hair green, and your in-laws come over who think you're a horrible parent. Anyway, they just show up at the door unannounced to witness this green-haired child. Kind of reminds me of, oh, what's that cute show? Oh, The Wizard of Oz, but the opposing. Anyway, or even a meteor hit your car, or it felt like it, and now you need a windshield or a new set of tires. Now, that being said, Gotcha is capable also of happy surprises, as well as those shocking, miserable, oh my God kinds. For myself, I just had my house cleaned and the cats couldn't wait to barf in strange corners, which is interesting. But this Fae is the one that's always there to assist us with winning lottery tickets, something unexpected. That would be unexpected. You know, you play the game, but you're not feeling it. But there's also a different school of thought that says that this is just karma. We deserve it for sins that we have probably totally forgotten about in other timelines or lifetimes, but that's not so. Karma is about lessons we need to learn, not about the punishment. Meaningless events don't really teach us too much. So this may be karma, but it is not the kind of karma. It's another school of thought. So things, they say things that are our choices, but we choose to be there when things are happening. We choose to step in from that invisible cosmic bus, right? So there is some truth to this on one level of being high in the super consciousness, the subliminal, the supraliminal spaces. But Gotcha, he's one of the Fae that knows more than he sees, but most of us don't kind of function at this exalted level of intuitiveness, of consciousness most of the time. However, a lot of us do get these hints, these little flashes of intuition and insight. Sometimes they're big flashes, but we often say, you know, I knew I shouldn't have gone that way or trusted that person, bought that stock or whatever it is. So there are two things that Gotcha is trying to teach us. He says he doesn't enjoy doing it, but do I believe him? I don't know. Actually, I do. Just kidding, most of the time. First, it's about us listening to and trusting our intuition. And we also need to be awake and aware. That's just part of what we need to learn in order to fulfill our potentials, to have a happy, satisfying, joyful, peaceful life. Without it, we're kind of sleepwalking through the world, missing out on all the wonders and the gateways and the joys and all the fun. while not missing many of the bumps and pitfalls and the energetic hiccups and the trivial pursuits, right? Stuff like that. But secondly, when there are lessons that we do need to learn, or when there are experiences that are properly, they're for other people, but they do have an impact on us, and we can still learn from them as well, we're kind of regaining our balance, our structure as quickly as possible. But things happen, right? And we can't control them. We can't always get out of their way. And we don't also always have a choice about them or around them. For example, you know, our fur babies, I have a house full of them. Our wetamays, that's really what they are. Wetamays, I'll get into that another day. But at some point in time and space, my fur baby's going to transition, right? Just like we all do. But, you know, they do have a shorter lifespan than we do, which is horrifying. But other things happen as well. People win huge sums of lotteries. They get inheritances. Sudden shock factor there. And this too, you know, we also need to take in stride and not get lost in that frequency completely. So gotcha. He knows we like to build sturdy structures, usually in our minds and also in our lives. But he also knows that these often aren't really great for us or good for us. Sometimes we even complain about them, muttering about life being dull or boring. However, we still cling to them tenaciously, like a tenacious forest. So these inner and outer rigidities usually encourage stagnation, and unity, the oneness, is really encouraging us to grow, usually insisting that we do grow. So as an asset to help us along, gotcha suddenly delivers these sudden surprises. However, how often do we say thank you or even remember to be grateful and say thank you? So it's hard, and he wants us to know that it is hard. It's a difficult job that he's doing. It's enough to even drive a fairy to drink. And if you can tell by his one little bloodshot eye poking out between his fingers, he's been into these potent nectars of the fae, which honey gets the fae drunk, by the way, and other spirits. They just function a little differently. But this is a message speaking to us of like sudden, maybe violent breakdowns of existing structures or habits or patterns, and or even attitudes, maybe behaviors. So when we become too tightly confined or well imposed, those limitations, including different desires for comfort, securities, he kindly breaks down the structure that's restraining us. It's like the brick wall, whether we think we want him to or not. But on a soul level, we know this to be necessary. And in our everyday thoughts, we usually get upset about it. However, on a day like today, these breakdowns do lead to the breakthrough. So this is liberation. And we often haven't even a clue what to do without it. Usually it's a beginning of a period of confusion, maybe some disorientation while we search for a way to move forward. Even though we may think we're simply searching for a way back to what we had before. However, I recommend, don't try to pick up the pieces and put them back together, Humpty Dumpty, how they were. Just consider differently instead what you would like to build in that aspect or part of your life. And it's a time to really remember to leave room for growth. So it's a message. It's in alignment with the energy of the cosmos today. So gotcha. Expect the unexpected. Just remember when things are falling apart, whatever that looks like for you, it's because they're going to fall or thread back together better. That was a lot. So after gotcha, let's see. We went with energy. I guess we'll go with the portal now, or the dimension. Sorry. The dimension, man. This guy, oh my gosh, he's bodacious Bodak. And I do love the word bodacious, right? It sounds juicy. But the 59, this is taking action on behalf of our mind. When we initiate a thought, we think. We then are law of attracting through our heart, and then we allow the heart to speak for our mind. So it's this dual channeling, streaming in from our root center to the solar plexus, out into the dimensional realms. I do have a picture of that. And the outer body feels it, and then it returns to the heart and down to our solar plexus. So it's like doing like this saucy dance in our energy centers. It's this nexus. But he's also part of the fairy challengers as well. Bodacious Bodak. So this really is weaving a new thread, a new pattern, both of these characters. But he's more of a meddler, self-sabotage or sabotaging in general, tampering, helpful, fixing, finding order in the chaos. But Bodach means old man in Scots Gaelic. He means well. He does like to fix things. He comes down chimneys at night. He tidies things up for us. And even if you don't have a chimney, he's going to find another way in, by the way. So if you've left piles of papers on your desk, he will clean them up and probably put them where you don't want them, because that is organized chaos, right? If you don't put your food away at night, he's going to feed it to the dog, the neighbors, or yours. So he's not a fae who really ties up our hair and making it stand on end in all directions when we sleep. That would be his little cousin, but he has far more important workings to do. So he is the meddler, and he will tell you that he does mean well if you can catch him. But, you know, things just never turn out quite how he expects them to. So he feels that we should be grateful for his so-called assistance, even as we are cleaning up the otherworldly message that he often creates. And he's also amazed when we are grateful. His feelings are easily hurt by our lack of appreciation, but he's very persistent. He just kind of redoubles his efforts to be helpful. But the only way to discourage him is by tidying up our loose ends and our clutter ourselves. And I'm sure you know people like the Bodach. These are people that are trying to be helpful by answering your phone, taking down the wrong message. They lose it. They give you a totally different garbled version. Or worse even so, they give other people the message from you that you're not exactly or even nearly what you said. Confusion of words. And on a very rare occasion, they do pass something on accurately, either something you never meant to pass on, or maybe it's been said specifically to the wrong person. So that creates chaos, right? But the Bodach, he likes to gossip, if you can't already tell. But salt, putting salt at your front door, or actually the fireplace, actually to keep him away. That doesn't really work, but it kind of assists in the picking up of it. He's like an ant, and the only way to keep him away is to not have anything around that might attract him. Tidying up our clutter, our spaces, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, otherworldly even. But the message here is that somebody's meddling. They're uninvited in on an issue. It could be you, could be somebody else. See if you can kind of work it out, begin to unravel the messy web. That maybe somebody's woven for you. Confusion, disorder, misunderstandings even. So much worse than natural disasters in a way. But it's going to take some authority, some firmness, boundaries to get this person to keep their sticky fingers out of your affairs, or you to keep yours out of theirs, right? It's two sides of the same coin here. And the amount of tact we use is inserting, it's actually up to us, but the Bodach, these type of people, they really don't even notice the hints, by the way. And just remember, whoever it is will probably say they mean well. They may even believe that, but it's hard to believe that the Bodach's bad results are always just an accident, by the way. He may insist that. He may even believe it, but we don't have to. And the word sabotage often comes to mind with him. So if you don't want this little character hanging around looking for ways to help us, make sure that you just don't leave things in the wrong place or things dangling loose ends, because he may find those bodacious things to actually do with them, because he's very crafty. He's curious. He's hilarious. I mean, these guys are funny. I couldn't believe I waited so long to pull them out. But yeah, our final message, if you chose the frequency, this little character, who I think is great, is Meek the Myomancer. Part of the helpline troop, so just know help is on the way. These are the wee folk, the fae. They're large, they're small. They sometimes assist us in our day-to-day lives, which one's here. So sometimes they add to it, more confusion, usually to be more helpful. But these are the fae, the elemental fairies, also the elementals of this world and of the galaxies, whether it's wood, fire, earth, star, ether, galaxy, I don't know, metal, minerals, stone, I don't know, and everything. Could you imagine a stone being when you saw one? So cool. But Meek, the 42, again, we have 4 in the house. That is the energy of the day, weaving these threads of the new, leaving the unthreaded there and piecing in a new weave possibly. So it's like, where do we feel we belong, and where does your heart feel it as well? It's part of the law of attraction. Like particles attract like particles. And the more of the same frequencies that we attract that are in resonance, then we begin to open up, accept it, and receive it. So that's super exciting. So these are the small clues, the finite details, the little messages everywhere. Patience as well. But the Myomancer reads the past, the presence, and the potentials of all beings. And more importantly, which I find curious, is the movement of mice. So he's particularly fond of reading the movements of field mice, which I was up in the mountains, and the field mice are really quite curious. And he likes them more because they're more livelier. They're just more free, I guess. They're fed better, more so than a church mouse, maybe. But he could actually learn the same things by reading berries or patterns made in the leaves, or any one other billion other things, by the way. But his specialty is the mice. And he can learn endless things from just the ways their whiskers twitch, the way they hold their tails. So he sees this hidden information, the patterns of growth, the coloration in their fur, the way the wind rumples, how they clean themselves, which we can do this with anything. So little things, the little details, can really tell us a lot. So everything carries a message, a frequency, a vibration, and energy about the universe around us. So in studying these finite, minute little details, sometimes it enables us to kind of deduce the whole, the entire universe, as this one piece, and each fragment of that oneness field, the unity. Even the reflections of the moon, it's all connected to all the others. And even a famous philosopher, Anonymous, which I think is hilarious, Anonymous said, the lifting of a finger disturbs the farthest star. And I think I have that book somewhere. It's a brown cover. But Meek says it works the other way around as well. So he's kind of advising us to make us slow, be in that observation station, study the finite little things, and even those smaller little details in the world around us. And in studying them to that level, it not only helps us to enhance our understanding of life and unity and of everything, the all, but it also helps to develop a joyful patience, a deeper philosophy. So this is kind of a message of attention, paying attention to the finite details. It's very important right now. It's a time. The time is now. These little things are not only important in themselves, but they also give us important information about the bigger things, the larger things, the galactic scale of things. So look for inner hidden messages in ordinary objects, happenings, and experiences. So it's like life is trying to teach us something by speaking to us gently, and with luck, hopefully, and applying the transformation, you then are going to get the message before we have the energetic hiccup and it speaks quite loudly. Body language, right, in humans as well as in mice. It does give us information in present time, especially if we learn to read it properly. Engaging in it, I would probably have to take notice myself. But clues and answers that we seek, the things that we need to know, they're always all around us. But we are surrounded by all the time, whether it's an omen, important signs. There's so much. But not all signs are written on billboards, right? In large letters or license plates. They're in small happenings in our life. So it's about being awake and being aware. So here's a hint. If you work out what the question really is, it's much easier to recognize the answer when it comes in. It's like you have those aha moments. So yeah, who missed the Fae on this otherworldly, wonky, Scorpio, adventurous feeling day? So with that, be compassionate to yourself today as you navigate this process. What are you no longer wishing to law of attract in your foundational structure? I would say go deep filling into the fires, those thread lines, determining the new ending and even a new beginning. Freedom is on the other side of the tapestry that we're weaving. Sometimes even an outer event, a person, situation, experience, a fender bender even, is what will expose the boundary within our heart space. So you may be allowing something to get to you, which is then an indication that you are allowing the other realms, the other world, to interference or interfere within the inner. So if you do have an outer event that triggers you, remember also that that is a period of growth. It's a growth period. And the lesson is really about where we are drawing the line, the inner line within ourselves. Johnny Cash style, right? Draw the line. I don't know what's happening today. But So with the outer realms dimensions, the Fae, all shaking us up, the fairy challengers, right? But we did end on a good note. Just be aware that the messages, the beings of the other world, feels as if the day may be appearing a little bit challenging. We do have Mercury and Pluto. They're arguing as well. So maybe you are feeling the need to make a decision. So I would say actually the mind, our solar plexus and our shaman's portal, we're having a deep pour. Don't know. Anyway, I won't go down that rabbit hole. So maybe there's an incision in consciousness. Maybe you're contemplating different angles, different thought processors. And everybody gets a word in, right? Maybe you, most of all, need to get the word in. You know, I mean, how often do we speak and not everybody wants to hear us? Or maybe we speak a whole nother language, like myself. So that may be an offshot energy of the day as well. But our heart's seeking to really feel at home. So it's like whatever hiccup streams in, the feeling, a boundary. So things are really percolating in those outer realms, weaving the threads, new threads, even myself. So really pick your magic, hold space for your inner world, your inner self. You are on some stable but yet unfamiliar ground. The walls that are crumbling are not in alignment with your new tapestries of your heart space. So I would literally ask my heart, where do you belong being available? And I would say, I belong being available to all the things, you know, my favorites, that bring me peace, joy, happiness, love, and integrity, which is my very favorite, and spiritual truth. So it's like all those things. I always ask myself that. Peace, joy, happiness. It's got to be in alignment. And if you haven't checked out the Brew, the Percolating on the Highway, be sure to check that out. The end of the show, I'll post that up again. And just let me know if you wish to have more insight, a declaration of otherworldly messaging. And I will see you for a fired up Freaky Friday, where we may need to hold the fire for our words, our attitude, and being grateful. We're all in this cosmic cuddling together, by the way. Sometimes, like Meek, it's ants for me. Ants are very interesting. Birds, clouds. Anyway, yeah, enough. And I will see you on the other side, and grateful again for my replay viewers. You always get more juice round two, right? So I will see you on the other side.